Hi, welcome to the Lone Star Dowsers. I'm Mary Lindsay Wilson, and it is our November 2024 meeting. Very excited to have Margie Kay with us tonight. I'm going to make a few announcements and then I'll do a proper introduction. So let's see. I want to say, first of all, that we appreciate your donations. They make this possible. So thank you. And if you are feeling generous and want to donate before the end of the year, we would be very grateful. I also want to let you know that I offer and I'm available for private guidance sessions. So you can reach out to me at mary@wholelifedesign.net. And that's also in our email, kind of at the very bottom. But I'm happy to work with people and just let you know more of what I do. There's also weekly dowsing Zooms. So every Tuesday at 8 o'clock Central, the Tucson Dowsers will meet on Zoom, and they aid in relief from fires, droughts, heat waves, and floods. And I wanted to say collectively, I think we did an incredible job for the storm that was the second storm that was headed to Florida. On Thursday nights, there's Dows for the Planet. And this is hosted by our friends from Australia, Heather Wilkes and Francis Peterson. And they douse for healing Australia and beyond. So you're welcome to join that. And that information is in the newsletter. So you can just join that at your leisure. So tonight, I'm fascinated by our topic of remote dowsing. Margie Kay, who is a master dowser, and she has quite a list of accomplishments behind her name. She's a self-taught psychic. She's a self-taught psychic medium. She's a remote viewer. She's helped solve over 70 homicides, theft, missing person cases for law enforcement. She does private investigations and for individuals in the US, South America, and Europe. She's also a veteran 40-year paranormal investigator. Margie's the owner and the CEO of, what did you say? Is it UNX?
UNX.
UNX Network and the UNX Media Publishing Company. She also serves as the Assistant State Director for the Missouri MUFON and as the Director of the Oz Interdimensional Communication Institute. She's a licensed private investigator in Missouri, and she owns and operates a fire investigation company, which I thought would be kind of perfect with remote viewing. And she's also completed over 570 UFO investigations for MUFON and over 1,700 paranormal and UFO investigations on her own. She's an accomplished musician, author of several books, a radio show, and she's also working on a documentary, and she offers workshops. So welcome, Margie.
Oh, thank you, Mary. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are happy to have you here. So I guess I'm sure everyone is curious, like I am, how did you get started in all this?
Well, I think it was the high strangeness that started when I was a kid, and I wanted answers for things that I was seeing. I would see little tiny lights around trees and energy fields around people, and nobody could explain anything that I was asking about. And I was about 2.5 when I started asking what these things were. So I had psychic abilities when I was young. My first aha, wow moment as far as anything paranormal occurred when I was probably about 11 years old, when a floating head appeared at the foot of my bed one evening in the dark, and it was talking, but I couldn't hear anything. And I woke my sister up in the bed next to me. I said, "Do you see anything at the foot of my bed?" And she screamed. So we both saw it. And so that was my introduction. It turns out that that head belonged to my grandfather, who died 6 years before I was born.
Wow.
And
So you came in pretty awake and aware.
yes, I did.
Were
I did.
your parents and family open to?
They
Your
were very
gifts?
open-minded, both of my parents were. They knew about things like reincarnation, and Edgar Casey, and they helped me along the way. They didn't ever tell me I couldn't do something or I shouldn't do something, and they didn't really encourage me either, but they didn't discourage me. So, they were open to things, and I think both of them were also very intuitive. They had some psychic abilities, as did my grandmother on my mother's side.
Fascinating. And so the fact that your sister could see it too, that's kind of remarkable.
It is, considering the fact that she doesn't want to see anything like that, even still today. And she actually didn't believe that UFOs existed until about 5 years ago. She called me up on the phone as she was driving through Colorado, and she goes, "You're not going to believe what we just saw." And she and her husband had seen a UFO that did some things that were amazing. So she was then converted to a believer.
People get there in their own time, right?
Yes, that's right. You can't force it. I
No.
couldn't force it on my kids either. They had to have their own experiences.
And now they're on board.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I knew
So,
they'd eventually get there because most people, at some point in their lives, when they're ready for it, will see things that are interdimensional, because there are a lot of things that are interdimensional, and it takes a while. It might take a while longer for some people than others, but I think they all eventually get there.
I think there's like a level of cog is it cognitive dissonance that you don't want to see what's in front of you. I mean, until you're, I guess, ready, right? The-
Yeah, I really do think you have to be ready. You have to be, at least in my life, in my personal experiences. The first time I saw an extraterrestrial, I wasn't ready for it, even though I asked for it and I thought I was ready, because I certainly knew that they existed. I had no question about that. But when you open your eyes and you see one standing at the foot of your bed, it's a shock the first
I
time, yeah, and
can
the
only
second time.
imagine.
But then you eventually get used to it, and now they walk in and out, and we have conversations, and it's all good.
Wow. So, all right. So you saw the floating head at the foot of the bed, and then did you just continue to kind of nurture your gifts? I mean,
Oh, I wanted answers at that point. We started going to the library once a month. My mother would take us, and I would get a stack of books, as many as I could legally take out of the library, at least 10 books, read those, bring it back the next month. I was looking at everything: the occult, UFOs, paranormal. Uh, like I said, Edgar Casey, read all of his books and everything I could get my hands on, because I wanted the answers and I was going to get to the bottom of it. You know, Back then I was very naive. There are only so much that we've got a handle on now. Even science can't explain all of this. But of course, when you get into quantum physics, uh, yeah, that's what it's about. It really is scientific. There really is science behind all of it. And I think what, of course, not this group, but the rest of the public uh, needs to be a little more open-minded and understand that just because it's not something that is in the normal five senses doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And if we open our minds enough and we activate our sixth sense, all kinds of cool stuff starts to happen.
oh, we
You
have more than six senses. Yeah.
Oh, many, many more. When I say sixth sense, there's at least 100, 200 in there, maybe more. If you start naming things: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, remote viewing, astral travel, all of that, and more, then we get the privilege of learning a little bit. And when we're ready, we go to the next step. A little bit more, we get a handle on that, we go to the next step. And it's been a journey, and it's been fun along the way. And I just can't wait until the next thing starts.
Well, so how did you get introduced to dowsing?
I started dowsing a long time ago. I went to a class my father took me to, a class when I was about maybe 18, something like that. And he just said, "Oh, this looks like fun. Do you want to go?" I said, "Okay." And they were using a pendulum. And I thought that was very cool. And then I eventually got some dowsing rods and I played around with it for a few years. I didn't really get heavy into it until I was probably in my early 30s. And then I started dowsing on a more regular basis, especially when I was doing private readings for individuals. And I found that in addition to, in my early years, being psychic and being able to do readings, that if I wanted a yes or no answer, or if I wanted an answer to a specific question about somebody, let's say they had a health issue and they wanted to know if it was getting better, if it was getting worse, things like that, I used tools for that. And I even, oh gosh, up to maybe 6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, we had a case of a missing person here in Independence, Missouri. And the person was a friend of my brother's. So I asked him where he thought she might have headed. And she told me about where the location where she got out of a car. So I had my daughter drive me. I got my dowsing rods and I drove down that particular road, which is a kind of a very busy highway in Independence, is 24 highway. And we kept driving and driving, and all of a sudden, I sensed something. So I had my daughter pull over. I got out of the car and I took the dowsing rods and I said, "Show me where there is a body." Okay, so this is a lesson in dowsing. All right, show me where there's a body. The dowsing rods clearly took me over to a place about 40 feet away from where I was. There was a drop off down to a little ravine. And here I see rib bones. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's the body. And then I got to looking closer. It was a deer. I had not said, show me where there's a human body or the body of this person's name. So that taught me a lesson with that. But since
Got to be
then,
specific.
you do have to be specific. Since then, I have honed my remote viewing skills to the point that I don't need to pick up a dowsing tool anymore. But they're certainly useful for demonstration and teaching. I teach dowsing, and I also do, if I'm doing a paranormal investigation with a group, I will get the rods out and everybody will get the rods out and we'll, see if we're all going in the same direction, something like that. So they're still a useful tool.
So I have to know, were you able to find the friend?
Yes, I did that. I did that by remote viewing and I found her several hours later and she had expired by that time.
So you help find missing persons.
Yes, a number of them. In fact, I'm working on a case right now. I did one last week. If someone is missing, I tell everybody, please keep my information on hand. So if this happens to you or a family member, call me immediately. Right after you call the police, get me on the phone because I can get by the person's name, especially if I hear their name said by a family member. Okay, there's an energy in that. So if I hear that, I can trace that person. I will know where they are. And speed here is of the essence with missing people. And I've worked on a number of homicide cases and solved them, and also some very large theft cases with big theft rings and some very bad people. So what I say in those cases when I'm working with law enforcement is you never talk to me. Don't put my name down in a report. You just got this information on your own and I don't want credit. So that's how that works. And so far, they have all agreed and done it that way and called me on the side when they're out of their office. And then I will lead them to whoever needs whoever we need to find.
Just avoid the red tape. Wow, what a service. That's great to know. Thank you. The so uh, and how does the I guess the MUFON, right? Your the extraterrestrial stuff kind of weave its way into all this.
Well, I had my first sighting when I was 17. We were driving to Texas and going through Oklahoma on South 35 Highway, I think. And somebody in the car said, "What is that?" And we all look over to our right, and here is this long cylinder. It's silver. There's no windows on it. There's no wings or anything. And we're just trying to figure out what the heck this huge thing is. It was like 3 or 4 times the length of a 747 and very close to the vehicle, a matter of maybe 100 yards or so.
Was this at night?
It was during the day. It's in the late afternoon, and it paced our vehicle. So as soon as we saw it, I was driving. I sped up. My mother said, "Speed up." So I did. And I was going about 80, 85 miles an hour or so. And it sped up
You're in
with us.
Texas.
Yeah, why not? This was, this is quite some time ago. This is in the 70s. And then she said, "Slow down." So I slowed down to 50, and it slowed down. And we're trying to figure this out. But what is really strange about it is the next thing we knew, it was dark. We were pulling up in front of a motel, and we didn't know what had just happened from the afternoon to the evening. We had several hours of missing time. We all went to bed. The next day, we woke up very late, got up, never spoke about it again. It was like it was wiped out of our minds, and we didn't even remember it until about 10 years ago. Something triggered a memory, and I called my brother and I said, "Do you remember this?" He goes, "Oh my gosh, I'd forgotten about that." And then he just proceeded to talk about all the details. It's pretty
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, but I think that's what got my interest, because after that I became interested in the UFO magazines, and my dad would get me a magazine every month, bring it home. Um, it was uh, the trigger, really big trigger to UFOs. And so I haven't been able to get out of that rabbit hole since. But once you go in the rabbit hole, all of these subjects come up. Uh, Animal mutilations, I've investigated a number of, uh, paranormal, anything that's interdimensional, portals. My film coming up is on portals. So, in fact, I'm going Saturday to do the last filming for that project. And there's more. So I'm thinking, I'm going to have a second movie on portals, because there's just so much.
You'll have to let us know when your documentary comes out. Yeah.
Oh, it will. Definitely. I'm hoping it's going to be next year.
So do you find the portals with your dowsing or your
Definitely, yes. Either remote viewing or dowsing, you can find portals. And if you want, like, if I know where something is by sensing it or remote viewing it, then I'll get the rods out, because there are other people there. Okay, they're investigating as well, or they're photographers. I'll get the rods out, and they'll just go right to where the portal is, or where the opening is. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and I had a guest recently and she was talking about just the ley lines and that there's feels like the earth is kind of coming on board, like things are opening up, there's more, I guess, grid lines being activated and more portals and all sorts of things showing up.
Yeah, I did. I noticed a correlation quite some time ago, when I first started investigating Kansas City, that on 39 degrees latitude, there was a lot of paranormal stuff happening. And, we'll give a little bit of leeway on either side of that line. And I thought, well, after a while, I thought, let me take a look at these other lines of latitude. So I did. And I just look at our case files from all different things, cryptid sightings and UFO sightings and everything else, and paranormal activity. 38 degrees, 30, 37 degrees, very, very active. And this is in the state of Missouri. And then went down to Arkansas, 36. You got the Board Camp Crystal Mine right on 36, exactly 36, and also 94 degrees longitude. And whenever you get a crisscross like that, you get latitude, longitude, uh, that's a power center, and a lot of stuff is going to be happening there. You can be guaranteed of that.
Do you consider that a portal where
Oh,
the
yeah.
cross is? Hmm.
Yeah, I do. And I imagine that that is everywhere around the planet.
Do you feel, because you're delving into all these places and things, do you feel like you need to have protection? What's your thought on all of that?
Oh, yeah. I teach a class on psychic protection. I always pull in white light and surround myself with it and push out negativity. And then I put a barrier up on the outside of that and maybe a mirror to reflect any negative energy that might be coming my direction, because you don't know what you're walking into. And that's with any type of investigation. There could possibly be something negative there, and you don't want anything to follow you home, get attached to you. You've got to be careful, and safe. And I'm sure that you teach people the same thing. But I always teach that in my classes as well.
Just a good reminder for everybody.
Yeah.
So, trying to think, there's so many interesting things. Um all right, I guess we talked about your intuitive abilities, which I know kind of just are, it's connected to everything, and a little bit of your UFO and extraterrestrial, the finding missing persons. The What else do you do with remote viewing?
Well, I'm thinking maybe we should do the presentation. If you're ready for that, I can start that, and that will be in there.
Okay, yeah. So let's do the presentation, and then Margie is going to lead us in an exercise so that we get to experience that as well. And then I think we may have time for a few questions at the very end.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah. And this is a pretty short presentation. It's called Introduction to Remote Viewing. And let me know if you can see that. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Is the screen big enough?
You could probably make it bigger if you want.
How's
There you go.
that?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So here we go. We already talked about that. So I'm going to explain how I got this ability. So I had, like we said earlier, I had an introduction to certain things at a young age. So it was in my DNA already. But then I got some assistance from Valiant Thor. Now, if you don't know who Valiant Thor is, just type it in your search engine and it will come up. Or get the book Stranger at the Pentagon by Dr. Frank E. Stranges. I did not know who he was in 1985, but I did realize I recognized his voice as being with me since the time I was a baby. He would guide me. He would tell me to look certain ways, try certain things, read a certain book. And I just thought everybody had their voice in their head telling them things to do. I didn't figure it out until I was a little older that that wasn't the case. But in 1985, I was at my massage therapist in Seattle, Washington. I lived there for about 13 months. And all of a sudden, he started talking in a different voice, and that wasn't his. And he said, "Would you like to try a light experiment?" And I said, "Okay," because I knew something was up. My spidey sense picked up there's something really cool going to happen here. So I said, "Sure, I'd like to try that." So he had me look at a green light and then a red light and back and forth for a couple of minutes. And then he said, "Now what do you see?" And I looked up and I saw his skeleton standing next to me, not anything else, only his skeleton. And before I could process this head appeared on the wall in front of me. And he said to me, this head said, I am Thor, and now you have X-ray vision. And he said, we're going to be in contact and we are going to be working together. And then he left, disappeared. And I'm standing there, what just happened? I asked everybody if they saw that or heard that, and no one did. I had my brother there, my 2 young children, and the massage therapist. He had no idea what had just happened or that Thor had used him to speak through his body, which is what I figured out later. So that's how basically what he did was trigger some things in me in order to activate my pineal gland, and which is the center for remote viewing. So he did that for a reason, and the reason is for me to help raise awareness and raise consciousness of the planet, and that is my mission here on Earth at this time. So what is remote viewing? It's a method used to see scenes, people, or objects in other locations by using the mind. According to Wikipedia, RV is the ability to gather information about a distant or unseen target using paranormal means, extrasensory perception, or sensing with mind. I would take out paranormal means out of that sentence. I don't think Wikipedia is correct in that, because I think this is something physiological. It is not woo-woo, okay? So the US government didn't think it was woo-woo because they had a remote viewing program. They were looking for psychic spies to combat Russia's psychic spies. That was the initial part, their initial reasoning behind it. It was popularized in the 1990s following the declassification of documents related to the Stargate project. It was a $20 million research program funded by the federal government to determine any potential military application, of course, of psychic phenomena. It was supposedly terminated in 1995, citing a lack of documented evidence that the program had any value to the intelligence community. That is not true. They used psychics to find hostages. They used them to find missing persons. They used them for a number of reasons. And supposedly the program was dissolved, but I, for one, do not believe that. I think they found something they could use and they're still using it. Hal Puthoff and Ingo Swann worked out this structured approach to remote viewing, which was used for the last 11 years of the government program. It was used to train military personnel and civilians to remote view. What they did was look for people who had a tendency to have psychic abilities, and then they would train them to do remote viewing, but they really could take anyone and train them to do it with this method. But I discovered it accidentally while I was working on a missing persons case in 1990, long before I heard about the government program. Now, right after Thor gave me the ability to have what he called X-ray vision, when the next time I did a reading for someone, which was actually the very next day for my brother, I noticed that now I could see inside the body and not just see like a red blob if there was an infection somewhere or a missing organ, things like that. I could actually see everything as if I were in there. So now, you know, yeah, I even see at a microscopic level. If I ask to see that way, I can see in the blood and look at the blood cells. I mean,
So
it's
you got to learn your anatomy pretty well, huh?
yeah, I know anatomy now. I am not a trained health professional, and there are some things that I see, but I don't know what they are, and I will explain it, and then the person can go get that tested and checked out. And in every case, I'm 100% accurate. This is
That,
Thor.
that's amazing. Yeah.
This is what he did. So the next thing that happened in the early 90s was there was a group of people I used to see. They were attorneys, and one of them called me one evening and said her 14-year-old niece was missing. She had not come home at the designated time, and they had suspected some people, and they'd gone around the neighborhood asking questions. They did not find her. I located the intersection, the house, and the address, described the house, went into the backyard and saw her tied up in a shed, and she had been drugged. She was asleep. Then I went through the house, and I heard 3 people talking about how they were selling the girl in the morning for $10,000. Told the woman this. She got the police detective who'd been working on it. They went back there, found her, got her out alive, and arrested the 3 people. It was a sex trafficking ring. That's when I learned that I could remote view. And the thing was, I was sitting there thinking, how am I going to find this girl? When Thor's voice said, look down. So I look down and I see a long line coming out of my solar plexus. So I followed the line, and that's how I got there. So that was my etheric body going out, or my astral body going out to the location, because I could feel the ground under my feet. I had, so
So it's like you traveled there. A part of you
I
traveled.
traveled there. I was in 2 places at once. I was on the phone talking to the woman, and I was at that site. So that was my
Bilocating.
introduction.
Wow.
Really, big time.
Wow. How amazing to save that girl's life and to
Yeah,
break up a sex trafficking ring.
yeah.
Thank you.
So I eventually determined, after I had done this for a number of years and became very adept at it, now I didn't need to go into a deep trance state. I could be fully awake or just in a light trance state, think about it for a second, and then I solve it. Whatever it is, it's instantaneous most of the time. It can be done by anyone because everyone has the natural ability to use the sixth sense. RV can be used to visit a location without leaving home, view the past when an event occurred, view past events such as thefts or accidents, or locate missing items. This is a big one. Everybody needs to have this, right? We all lose something once in a while, something usually really important that we need. Yeah, and it works for that. Locate missing pets. Find the source of health problems in humans or pets. That guy looked
So
pretty
that's
big.
all considering, yeah, you did. So that's all considered remote viewing.
Yes, it
So
is.
kind of like, I guess, medical and intuitive is a version of remote viewing.
You would call it intuitive medical diagnosis, but it's beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
It's way beyond that. I can also locate the source of vehicle or machinery issues, find out where problems are inside vehicles, even if I don't know what that part is. I know where it is and what it looks like. So I can explain that.
Wow.
I've helped solve, we have a fleet of vehicles in our business, and I've done that several times, even when the mechanics couldn't find a problem. I would find it, locate it, and then they're able to fix it. So anybody can learn how to do that too.
That's amazing.
You have the ability to slow time down if needed while remote viewing. I found this out accidentally one time, and it can be useful, especially if things are moving very quickly and you want to slow time down. You just have to think about it. You just ask it. Just say, slow time down, and boom, there you go.
So I guess, did you ever go back to that very first sighting that you saw with your family and slow time down and kind of get a
I
good
did.
look at, yeah.
I got a really good look at that craft. Yeah. So here's the thing. The pituitary gland, the thalamus, and pineal gland are the psychic center, basically, in this whole center part of the brain. And this little symbol down in the lower right-hand corner might look familiar as the Eye of Horus. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about this psychic center of the brain. So I'm going to talk about how to do it, and then we're going to do it. Okay, so first of all, what you want to do is reach a light hypnotic state, so just a very relaxed state. and either be by yourself or with the assistance of someone else. So that would be somebody doing like a guided meditation and then asking you questions. I prefer to do everything myself. The psychic center of the body is in the center of the forehead. So you want to focus on that part. And by concentrating on this area, you can open it. The same way, if you're doing like a chakra meditation, you want to open your crown chakra, you'll feel the top of your head tingling. You'll feel your third eye tingling because you just woke it up by thinking about it. You should feel the tingling. And then the remote viewer will send or project his consciousness to the remote location from the third eye. Now, when I say remote, it could be someone standing right in front of you. Okay, it doesn't need to be across the world. It's just the term that's used for it. You may, for protection, we talked about that earlier. Carry a quartz crystal with you. It repels negative energy, a clear quartz. You can also put it around your house. When doing psychic work, be sure that you're not in a bad mood. It can hinder your work and pull in negative energies, which can result in false readings. And so here's what I do, and I always suggest to everybody in order to be a skilled remote viewer. Practice meditation daily. Practice using your sixth sense daily. So that would be have somebody else get a deck of cards and you know, you see what the card is coming up next, or any kind of training like that. Oh, why is that not doing? Huh. Okay. We're not working really good here. Have a quiet space, some quiet time for yourself so you can calm your mind from the busy, busy chaos that we have in our world today. I am staying away from the news for most of the time, just because it's always negative, and that, you know, that has a tendency to put you in a bad space. And
I
practice
have a
things like
question.
dowsing. Anything
Yeah,
that uses that sixth sense area, like dowsing, is really, that's going to activate that sixth sense. So that's why your group is probably either already remote viewing or ready to go with it.
I think we're ready to
So
go. So I have a question about the meditate daily. What do you consider meditation? What does that look like for you?
for me, I do it before I go to sleep at night, either in the chair in my living room or lying down in my bed. The area has to be quiet. I don't want anybody else to be around me or making any kind of noise. And I want to just get very relaxed, not have any distractions, and focus. Now, one of the keys to focus, what you can do is play meditation music. That will get your brain paying attention to that music. Or you could focus on one thing, like if you wanted to have your eyes open, a candle. I want to have my eyes closed, so I focus on simply seeing a black screen. And I want anything to be there. And then I will focus on something. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's your health. Maybe you want to attract money. Maybe you've got something you need to work on, success, whatever. Just focus on that one thing for that one session. If I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for an object that's lost, I don't need to go into a deep meditation anymore. I simply relax, close my eyes, and ask to see where that object is, and it will show up in front of me. Sometimes I'll see a line going for my solar plexus, and I'll follow that line, and I'll find that object by following the line. It's kind of funny how that works, especially with keys. It it seems to be every time I need keys to find keys, I see that line. It's kind of wild. So we got a few ethics we need to talk about. Don't spy on people. Don't remote view adults without their permission, except in the case of a missing person. Always ask permission, even for family. And children are okay to remote view if you're doing it for the parents. 10 minutes a day at the same time for meditation. Doesn't matter what the subject is. Practice dowsing, which I know you do. Communing with nature, getting grounded, getting your feet on the ground with no shoes or socks on to ground to the earth. I've got a remote viewing workbook on Amazon right now that's available if you're interested. I'm doing a workshop in January. It's 4 sessions every Saturday. We're going to get really deep into it. I also do other workshops on dowsing and many other things. Most of those are on demand right now. And then I have the Master Dowsers chart book. This was designed with a lot of charts in it to save time when you're doing dowsing using a pendulum. So, okay, let me stop sharing.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask you about did you say healing with music?
Yes, healing with music.
Okay, I believe sound healing is like the wave of the future. I mean, I think that's what we're moving into. I would love to hear what that looks like for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But I think I was pushed into being a musician by Val Thor. So let's put it like that, for a reason, so that I would understand vibration. And yeah, and then that gets into healing with music.
Then I guess we'll have to have you come back and talk about that.
Maybe.
That
Yeah.
that would be great. Okay, so that's kind of your formula for basic remote viewing.
Hmm. And we
The
can, if you want to try to do it right now, we can
Yeah,
do a little session. Okay.
let's
So
do it.
what I'm going to do is we're just going to go into a light meditative state. And then if everybody would get a piece of paper and a pencil ready to go, after that, I'm going to give you an address. And I want you to send your consciousness to that location and look at it and draw the front of this thing that I'm going to show you. It is a house. And I'm going to give you the address of the house so you can draw it. All right. So if everybody's ready, just close your eyes, sit back in your chair and relax. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then visualize a black screen in front of you. Relax all of your muscles, your jaw muscles, shoulders, back. And then open your crown chakra on top of your head. And let's pull in some white light, universal white light, down through your body. Go down your arms, your legs, through your entire body. And then try to have your feet flat on the ground. And open up your feet chakras in the bottom of your feet. And pull earth energy up through your legs and down your tailbone into the earth. Feeling very grounded. Now we're going to push that white light, that column of light that's going through your body, out. We're going to form a big egg bubble around our bodies. Want it to go out as far as your arms can reach on either side, front and back. above you and below you. And that white light of protection stays with you at all times and keeps negative energy away from you. And now think about the center of your forehead. We're going to wake up that third eye. And think about a line going in from that spot on your forehead inside the brain directly to the pineal gland. Even if you don't know exactly where that is, just think that that's where you want to be. We're going to activate that. Send some energy in. Send energy directly to the pineal gland to wake it up. And now, from your third eye, I want you to send your consciousness to this place. The address is 1136 South Pearl Street, Independence, Missouri. Tell yourself that's where you want to be right now. And in your mind's eye, you will look up. You're standing in front of that address right now. Look up at that structure and draw what you see on your paper now. Any impressions you see are okay. You might see shapes. You might see color. If you see color, write that down. If you hear a sound, write that down. If you feel a texture, write that down. I'm going to give you one more minute. Okay. If anybody wants to share their drawing, just hold it up to your camera. Be
Mm,
brave. There's no wrong answers.
let me see if I can get everybody. where we can see everybody. I mean, I'll show you mine. I don't know if you can see. I can describe what I got. That might be easier than
Yeah,
my
that
little
might be
picture.
easier. Yeah.
I I'm questioning myself a lot, but the to me it felt like a kind of a dark purple brown color. And it felt like it looked kind of one story with like a little uh something over the front door, like a covered porch, like a little triangular roof. Seemed like there was like a light green spiky plant kind of near the door. Didn't have There was not lush landscaping. Um, and it seemed like there was a driveway on the right hand side. I saw a chain link fence. That's kind of what I
Okay.
got.
Okay. Does anybody else want to share
You want to raise your hand
their impressions are?
and be brave and
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
I'll
good.
share.
Okay, who's that? Is that Gail? Did you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is my little, I probably can't see it, but what I got was um a, a house with a veranda, and I got a blue door and cream and yellow, and I got a vision of welcome, set a spell. There's some chairs that you can sit on. And then I got another vision of a barn, and that was converted into a house.
Okay. Okay. Partially right. Partially, and Mary's was partially right too. Anybody
Okay.
else?
Did I see Carol's hand up? You can unmute yourself, Carol.
I don't know if you can see my house. No, it's pretty. I don't know if you can see it.
You know what?
Your
Hang on.
picture kind of looked like my picture, I think. Why don't you
It
describe it
did.
for us?
I got a little white bungalow, single story white bungalow house which had a porch on the left hand side of the front of the house. And a driveway, but I could not see a garage. I just saw a driveway on the left-hand side of the house. You said on the right, but anyway, that
I'm
was it.
facing the house, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
I'll share.
It was white with brown trim.
Partially right.
Okay. All right. Did I see, is it Nalita? Did you?
Yeah, it's my wife's name.
Okay.
Okay, what I saw was it's a picture, but what I got basically is a two-story house, windows, door in the middle, and then in the pine tree. There's some kind of pine tree there, and it was at night or evening. That's all. That's all I know.
Okay.
I'll share. Rosemary.
Okay.
I got pretty much the same, like a single story house. It had two dormers on each side, black shingle roof. It felt like the house was blue, and it had a dark blue front door, and there were two spruce trees in front of it, and a pavement, brick paved to the front door, and there was a little structure off to the right, and two windows that had the grid in it, and that's what I saw.
Okay. Partially right as well.
Terry, did I see your hand up? You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I had I just got the impression of two columns that had a triangular, like a portico of some sort, triangular thing above it with a door, and then to the right of that there were windows, and there was white. I didn't get a whole lot more detail than that, but that's what I saw.
Okay.
Thanks. I thought, was it Joanne? Did you have your hand up? You want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. The first thing I drew was a pitched roof. So it sounds like kind of a similar thing to other people. And then a white picket fence in the front and a gate. And it seems like it's a corner house. So there's looks like a stop sign to me as I look at the house, it's on the left-hand side. And it's a blue house and it's got windows that have got the crossbars in it. And then I drew flowers, like little white flowers, but they're not all over the yard. They're just kind of coming up on the left-hand side of the gate. And then I saw people in high back chairs in the living room sitting discussing things, kind of through the window, kind of not. And like there's a fire on because the smoke is coming out of the chimney. So that's what I got.
That's very detailed.
That was very detailed and pretty accurate.
Good.
Pretty accurate. Anybody else?
We had a couple things in the chat. Let me see what that says. Let's see. Renew drew that triangular shaped roof, I guess, or over the door. I can't quite read what else it says. Sonia says, my vision was the same as yours, kind of about the brown home with the same frame, single story, but without the chain link fence, and she heard an owl. I'm not sure for me if the chain link fence was part of this house or something nearby, like alongside the driveway. It's just what I saw. Anybody else have anything they want to add? If you do, you're welcome to unmute yourself while we're talking. I guess I'm not
What
hearing any.
address did everybody write down?
Oh, I didn't write it down.
Did anyone write it down?
Carol was a good student. She wrote it down.
113.
1136. Yeah,
Yes.
1136 South
Okay.
Pearl Street,
Okay. All right. If you're,
Independence, Missouri.
okay. If you're ready, we'll show you some pictures now.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Let
Okay.
me change our view again. Okay.
Okay. And let me go to. wait a
It
minute.
was like at nighttime, so I felt like the color was influenced by how dark it was there.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, you're-
I saw the windows that everyone was talking about with the millions.
Okay, so there was a little bit of overlap to neighboring houses. So the one in question, actually, this has since been painted. I need to get a new picture up here. It is a tan color now with brown trim. And here is, you saw the door with
Yeah.
the
Yes, the little overhang.
portico over it. There is no chain link fence on this property, but next door is, I don't know if can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
On here? Okay. So next door is this house that has a dark brown roof. It's a kind of a peachy tan color. It's since been painted as well. It's got some bushes. Somebody said some straggly bushes. There are some over here on the left. During the winter, that's what they look like. And then there's a greenery one here. Some people saw pine trees. There are no pine trees, but there is a big tree in front of this house right out of sight, just to the left. And then there is a driveway on this 1136. The driveway's to the left. It goes around to a parking lot because that's our office. And then this one is next door. It's a bungalow, one story, but a lot of you saw this peaked roof. Okay, there's no blue door here, But on this other one, this one that's white with a blue roof, over here on the left, on the side, there is a blue door. Somebody said they saw a blue door.
Couple
And then
people
this,
did. Yeah.
yeah, and then there's a porch on the right of the one in the middle, and there's a big porch going across all the way across the front of the White House. And again, we've got these peaked roofs. So a lot of you got some good detail on this. I think this was a really good practice session. Yeah, you got some things that were
so
accurate.
Interesting that we were we were in the neighborhood. I guess that's
Yes.
how you get started, huh?
You were definitely in the neighborhood. And you know, and it's all about, I think the thing about remote viewing is people have a block about it. They don't think they can do it, so they don't try it. And if we just get over that and believe that we can do it and we can do anything we want to, I think that is 50% of the success when we're doing something like this, or anything, really. It's what your mindset is. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. And I think that that's why I have been so successful at it, because I don't have limits in my mind. Since I was very young, I knew I could do things. And you know, I think that's the whole key right there. And then, of course, using your third eye, practicing anything you want to do, you know, psychic work, practice, dowsing is great, I think, because it goes directly to the pineal gland. It's just, you know, make up a list of things that you want to try and practice it every day. I mean, I practice it, I use it every day, literally use it to find something that's missing, find a problem in a vehicle. Sometimes my husband does some gas and chimney work, and he's got to drill into a fireplace. A couple of times he called me up and said, could you take a look at where I'm drilling and make sure I'm not going to hit a gas line? And I said, yeah, move your drill an inch over to the east. And he drills and he misses the gas line. Okay, so it comes in handy. Yeah, it can be used for so many things. And I think we all have the ability. It's just getting over any blocks we have about it and trying it out, you know, in
Do
practice.
you have some recommendations for things to getting over the blocks and increasing your confidence?
You know, I think everybody has a different personality. Some people are very confident about everything they do. Even if they don't know how to do something, they will learn it and they'll tell you, yes, I know how to do that. And then they'll learn it. Okay. And then there are other people of a different type of personality, and they're just more timid, and they take longer to learn new things. And they seem to have a little bit of a fear about trying something that's new. And so it's going to take that person longer. But if they stick with it, you know, it's like dowsing. The first time you picked up a pendulum, it did not work for you, right?
No, it did not.
No. You told me that before we started the meeting. It didn't work for me either the first time I picked one up. It took a while to pick it up every day and get your mind and your body and your subconscious used to the idea that this is what you want to do, and please contact my higher self to give me the answer. And once it gets that message and you're doing it all the time, it is just like a muscle, you know, but it's the pineal gland that's getting activated. Now, the other thing is there are some blocks with the pineal gland, and that's mostly has to do with fluoride. So if you get fluoride out of your diet and cleanse your pineal gland, drink spring water with a quarter of a lemon in it, squeezed in it every day throughout the day. Drink a lot of water. Your body needs a ton of water. We need oil in our bodies for things to function correctly, like olive oil or fish oil capsules, something like that. You want to keep everything lubricated, and find some excuse to keep the pineal gland activated, get it decalcified. There's some information on my website about decalcifying. Another good way is from apple cider vinegar. You get like 4 ounces of warm water, put a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in, and a teaspoon of raw honey. That does a lot of good things for the body, but it also cleanses the pineal gland and decalcifies it. Because if it's calcified, it's not going to function right. And then as far as music goes, try to stay in 432 hertz, because I don't want to get into all the details about that, but there's a big conspiracy why we listen to 440 hertz music instead of 432. And that has to do with the note on the scale A, and 440 is what we're currently using, but we've only been doing that for about 100 years. Prior to that, it was 432. 432 is the natural frequency, the natural resonance for the body. And if you get a singing bowl in 432 hertz, if you go on Amazon or anywhere, you can look up singing bowls in 432 hertz. That's what you want to get. You get one of those, probably the third eye frequency, if you want to go there. I always tell people start at the base, start at the root chakra, and move up when you're balancing your chakras, which is another way that you can open your third eye, is balancing all of your chakras, but starting at the base. But then if you get a singing bowl and play that, that thing will vibrate right through your entire body and wake up your pineal gland.
How do you feel about there are different, I guess, tones you can listen to on the internet, right? You can, I guess,
Yes.
like Google the 432 hertz. So is
Yes.
that the same thing?
Yeah, it is the
I mean,
same
I know
thing.
you don't have the vibration of the bowl, but
No, you don't have, but you can turn your speakers up. You can get some good speakers and turn them up on your computer, and that will help. I do not like the electronic tones. I'm so sensitive that they're just very grating to me, and I don't feel like that's very natural. I want it to come from an instrument or a singing bowl. So I do have some of those meditations on my website, but you can do a YouTube search. You'll find a lot of them.
so is there an instrument that is naturally attuned to the 432 hertz?
All of them can be naturally tuned, all of them. And there are bands that only play in 432. But here's the trick. If you get this program called Audacity, AUDACITY,
Mm-hmm.
or if you just do a Google search for changing music to 432 hertz, you can use a program like that and change any music to 432, and you will not know the difference.
Wow. So does it sound different, or it's just the way our bodies respond to it, really?
The way our bodies respond. It is the natural healing frequency and waking up our pineal gland. The whole reason, and this goes back to Rockefeller, that they changed to 440 is to keep the pineal gland from functioning. That was one of the ways they did it. I mean,
People
yeah,
would not be awake. Yeah.
right. They don't want a bunch of people walking around that are aware and awake and know what's going on, right? They just want us to be their worker bees. So, yeah, but people are waking up. They're figuring this out.
Yeah, absolutely. They're waking up. Let's see. We have something in the chat. You can change the frequency of music by dowsing it and intending it to be 432 hertz.
That's a good idea. I'll have to try that.
It's a good question, or a good possibility. Yeah. That's so interesting. So I wonder, is 432 hertz like like when you're out in nature, just kind of like how nature, all the sounds in nature, that's like a natural frequency you find there?
I would imagine the answer to that is yes. Because one of the things that activates your psychic center is being in nature. Because we have lost our connection to nature. And we really need to get back to that. And that will it will make you feel different. So yes, that whatever the frequency is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. So many questions about the frequency and using our body as an instrument and using other things as instruments. I guess it all plays a part in things. We have a little more time. I'm just wondering, is there like a little short exercise we could try another remote viewing?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we do another remote viewing? Yeah, let me think here. Okay, I got it. I've got it. Now this is going to be simple. Okay.
Simple is good.
I have an object in front of me.
Okay.
Okay, it's not just a typical object. So it's going to be something a little bit different. And it is right now in my office in that first building I showed you in the picture. The little red building that's not red anymore. It's a cream color, but with the twisted chimney on top. I'm sitting in that building right now in my office, and to my left, there is an object that I'm focusing on. So everybody just take a couple deep breaths, close your eyes, relax, and you send your consciousness to where I am. And I'm going to look at it. So I want you to look through my eyes at what I'm looking at and draw what you see. Send your consciousness to my brain and my eyes and look out through my eyes. Make note of any colors you see.
Are we ready to give
Okay.
this a... Okay, I'm questioning myself, but I will just tell you what I'll say imagined.
Okay.
First I thought it was like a cat and a mouse, like a striped cat. And then I was thinking it was like a ceramic, I almost want to say a pencil holder or cup or something. It seemed like there was a cat attached to it going around it. It wasn't very colorful, didn't seemed gray and white or kind of gray and neutrally colors. That is what I tuned into.
You are partially right.
Okay.
Who else wants to share?
All right. That's okay, Joanne. Yeah.
Okay. It's funny you say pencil holder. So I saw it's like an agate rock, So it's round, but it's also oval at the same time. Oval when you look down at it, but it comes up, it's round, and it's got a place to put a pen. I think it's for a pen. And so it's gray and black, and then there's a few gold sparkles in it.
You are partially right. Very good. Who else?
Gail?
Hi. I'm seeing like a dome with a spirally kind of starting at small at the top and getting bigger as it goes down, and little flecks of something, and my colors, and it glows in the dark, and soft muted pinks and purple and blue, and it has a black base, and if you looked at it from the top looking down, it would be clearer, but it have like some sort of swirl in it.
You are partially right.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I see Rosemary's got her hand. You want to unmute yourself, Rosemary?
Am I muted?
Nope, we can hear you.
Okay. And this is way off base, but I see a pyramid, little pyramid on your desk or to the right, and there's a little crystal in there. It's a 5-pronged crystal, but that's what I saw.
There is a pyramid to the right of my desk,
Oh,
but that is not what I was focusing on. But you are right. It was to my right.
Okay.
You guys are looking around everywhere else. You're not focusing on one thing.
Right, there's a lot going on. Who else would like to say? Michael?
I don't know, but I was thinking crystal pyramid. That's the thing that came to my mind. I was very surprised when she picked that up.
Okay.
That's
You guys are looking around at my messy office is what you're doing.
yeah.
Anybody else want to try?
Terry, I see you waving.
Well, I was seeing something round, but it wasn't just one. It was like maybe 3 round or circles, and the color green. So I don't have a specific what it was, but those were the impressions that I got.
Okay.
Okay.
Round.
Okay, I'd like to. My face doesn't show though. I got the same vision that Joanne did. I saw like a big oval egg shape, almost as if it was sitting on a little table. And then all of a sudden I heard pink. And that's it.
Okay.
Um,
No.
Okay.
We have Sonia put in the chat. She got a silver heavy paperweight like thing that's in an open book shape.
Oh, she's close.
Okay. Anybody else? Let's see, Lee.
Thanks. Right away, I got a Merkaba. It was black. But I got a globe, royal blue with lots of gold in it.
Okay. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Okay. If not, I will show you.
Oh, let's see. There's one more. Renew said she got a paperweight dome kind on top, kind of flat on the bottom, made of glass or crystal, gray, blue, and light specks.
Partially correct.
Okay.
Okay. This is my cell phone holder on my desk. It is black and gray. It kind of looks like a paperweight, could be used as a paperweight. And there are, you can't see it, but there's a pattern in here of swirling lines in this gray part.
Okay, why did we think some of us thought they were like a pencil holder?
I don't know, but maybe the shape of, this part might have looked
Mhm.
like a pencil.
Yeah, because I kept getting cylinder, but then okay,
Somebody
do you have any
saw,
cats in your office?
no,
Okay.
I have a cat at home, but she is not here.
Okay, well, she's
Yeah.
maybe is she gray and white striped?
She's a calico.
Okay.
She's a calico, and I'm just looking around to see if there's anything that might have. There's anything else. I mean, I don't have anything round in here. I don't have anything with gold flecks on it. Nothing like that. But look, we had some successes there. There are a few details that were correct, and it's just a matter of practice. You guys want to try one more
Sure.
real quick? Okay. So
We'll have to confine ourselves to a singular space. You're right. We
yeah,
are liking
let's
to
do.
kind of check out the neighborhood and check out the office and
Okay. So this is a very simple thing. It's one thing. Um, it is one color, and I'm putting this to my left, right where I put that other object. So just close your eyes, relax, send your consciousness to my space, and look to my left.
like through your eyes.
You can look through my eyes.
Okay.
Yes, and this is a technique that I use when I am doing missing persons or homicides. I will go into the body of the person and look through their eyes. But this is a fun thing to do, so let's forget about that. There are some words on it. One thing you can do is just take your pencil and start drawing without really thinking about it. Kind of like automatic writing. Okay, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this one. Let's go ahead and finish up.
Okay. Who
What'd you see?
wants to well now I've had to really multiple guess myself. It felt like an oval roundish shape something. My very first hit was that it was white, and then it sort of felt clear kind of after that. I wasn't quite sure what that was. I saw, I think, red letters, and I was trying to read what that said, and then my logical mind was kind of wanting to make stuff up. So, all right, we're having some things on your, what is that?
I don't know what that is. That
Okay.
is something else to
Oh, somebody's
oh,
drawing something.
doing the drawing. Okay.
Okay, I don't know how she got in here and is doing that. Who is doing that?
Lee Shook.
Lee. Okay. Did it look like that?
No.
Okay, we don't know what that. Uh, okay, I don't know what that was. That was weird. So I would say it had red lettering. I got the information of love. So I don't know if that's what the letter said or if that's what it made you think of, or you felt when you looked at it. I wasn't clear on that. Okay. I don't know why this is continuing.
That's the whiteboard. So they're bringing up.
Okay.
The
Whoever's doing the whiteboard, let's stop. Stop with the whiteboard. The okay, Rosemary, why don't you show
I
us
got
what
I got a keepsake box. That's what I got. It's a little box that's you put keepsakes in it.
What in the,
Janet.
I think you've been hacked.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. That's a weird thing. Okay, you got a keepsake box. All right. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Okay, anybody else have a
I do.
okay.
Yeah, you've been hacked.
It was this person, Janet. I just
Boot
removing
her out. Did you boot
Janet.
her out? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Joanne, what'd you get?
I got a pen laying on its side. It's one of those that you can clip onto something. And it looks like it's got maybe a white top, a solid top, and then the bottom looks like it's, I don't know, clear or something, and it's got the word hello on it. There you go.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. What else? Renew says small rectangular white cream object with the word love. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm getting something kind of like a stone that feels really comfortable in your hand, almost peanut shaped. And
I think as us gals, we should all show our breasts as a sign of humiliation.
Wow.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you've been hacked.
Okay.
So,
I don't know what that is.
And the words I'm getting is peace always and allow and allowing, or something that means allowing.
Interesting.
Hey, fuck all y'all. Y'all some bitches for real. Bizza.
Wow.
Bizza.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
Mary, you bad as shit.
Can you tell who it is?
No, I cannot.
It's iPhone 13.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
not
I
iPhone
see that.
13. I swear to God, it ain't iPhone 13.
Yeah, it is you.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
It's your voice.
Why am I gonna look like that? What the fuck?
Please mute yourself.
Clear that all out. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
I'm gonna
cleared
show
the-
you what the object is.
Okay.
Get back to the case at hand here. It is my yellow transparent pill bottle that has my nutrients in it that my husband puts in for me every day, and he reminds me that he loves me.
Aw.
So there was a love factor and there was some
was.
transparent, but I did not get yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's oval. A
Yeah.
couple of people got an oval shape.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Wow.
printed words.
Well, I guess we get to just keep exercising our our remote viewing muscles and yeah, thank you for that introduction and getting us on that track. Clearly we have a little bit of so do you think that your connection with, was it Val, really amplified your abilities?
100 times.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
He did it because he wants me to share this information with other people, get them able to use their abilities, and just open up to new things, and basically to raise consciousness. That's why He does this with, has done it with other people. He said about 1 per 100,000 people. So I am supposed to reach 100,000 people, and the other people are, do the same thing. But this is not unique to me. Anybody can learn how to do it. We just have to have an open mind and practice and stay focused. And it only takes a few minutes a day. It doesn't take your entire day, every day. You don't have to become a yogi. You don't have to go live in a monastery. It can happen. Do your daily life routine and spend 15 minutes a day doing this work, and you'll get good at it. You'll
I
improve
guess
every
like
day.
our dowsing, we have to practice, right?
Yep.
We get
Same
better.
thing.
Well, thank you so much. This has been so fascinating to try, and I have lots more questions. So, can you get rid of this person? Too. And do you want to let Margie know how people can reach you?
Yeah. Just go to margiekay.com.
I have a question too.
We're wrapping up. We're not doing any more questions. You're welcome to write something in the chat.
Can I ask a question?
Nope.
No.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Wow,
Hang on just
okay.
1 second here. Okay. Somehow they figured out how to get in here. We'll talk about this later, Mary. I'll tell you how to keep it from happening. Margie, MargieKay.com is my website. All my info is on there. I do private readings. I have books and workshops. And like I said, the remote viewing workshop is coming up in January, and that's going to be on Zoom. And if you miss a session, you can always watch it later because I am recording everything, and the whole thing will be available on demand later.
Okay. Well, thank you. And we'll send the replay out to people. We don't really do any editing, so I'm just going to apologize in advance for our intrusions. And I guess you get to a certain level, you get hacked, huh? So,
yep. Soon
right.
as you get real popular, you get hacked.
Well, I'm going to thank everybody, and we appreciate your donations. It makes it possible. And reach out to Margie. And yeah, I'm available for sessions as well. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary.